Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. This is the Fathom FR36 in Drift Spec. And I'm about to find out if it'll off-road. Yes, we did test the FR36 just a couple weeks back. Well, actually, I think by now it's been a month. I don't know. The date of all of these is just escapes me. But this is the next to final normal will it off-road for the Chop Shop season. It's taken forever, I know. Next week we'll be back with the Police Riot and the Clean Tow Truck, and then that'll wrap up our testing. And then the week after that, we will, actually the 2 weeks after that, we'll be doing Will It Off-Road at the races, where we take the fastest, the two fastest and the two slowest in an actual race up and down the mountain. Where we go to the top, come back down, go back up, and then come back down. The damage is the same. It's the same course we take when we test, but it has checkpoints and props. It's a race. And we just have good fun with it. When we're mostly going to be in all the same cars, that's usually the thing that we take. You know, everybody takes the same car for the race. However, I already know what the slowest vehicle this season is, and unfortunately, it's not a raceable vehicle. So that's going to leave the two that are featured today as the two slowest, and I don't know, you can kind of tell this was not the easiest thing to do, and I don't know that having anywhere from 3 to 6 even more people racing up the mountain in drift cars is going to be that great. I can see there being a lot of calamities of people getting knocked off, or since, you know, there'll be, well, let's face it, if you haven't taken a drift vehicle up the mountain before, it's totally different than the drift races. So, yeah, you know, it just, I think for the drift race, I'll just be like, take whatever drift car you want out of the gate. So then we'll move to, like, the slowest above the drift cars that we're seeing today for the Will It Off-Road at the races. I was surprised, to be honest, that any of the drift vehicles could even make it. I just didn't think that they'd be able to. I just thought that the really steep inclines and their low grip just wouldn't do it. But I think the fact that they're all-wheel drive is what gets them up there, because you can see that all four wheels spin on all the inclines, but they do make it. So we're not testing the other 6. Maybe eventually someday we will, but I didn't see the need to extend Will It Off-Road, or all 8, I should say. I didn't see the need to extend this out for 6 more vehicles and 3 more weeks of testing. I mean, by the time this video goes live, we're going to be into May, like the 2nd, 3rd week of May. And we've got a big, well, Rockstar calls it a big DLC coming this summer, which will be June or July. You know, and I'd like to give Will It Off-Road a little break, you know, just a breather. I'm having trouble getting this car to go straight. You know, so extending it out 3 more weeks would have us into June. And then mid-June by the time we did at the races. So, yeah. Just not going to do it. Just going to leave it as is with just these tested. And maybe someday we'll come back. There are other DLCs where we didn't test every vehicle. And you can see that reflected on the spreadsheet, which is linked in the description down below. There are... it's only been like, when I say recent, I'm just looking right now to see how far back we have to go. Yeah, the original casino heist, or the casino heist, I should say, was the last DLC that we didn't test everything that came out. And there's a lot from that DLC that we never tested that kind of surprises me looking at the list. Especially the Komoda. I love that thing. But starting with the summer special of 2020, we've tested every single video up until this DLC. And I'm kind of okay with not testing all 8 drift cars. We can't do the Park Ranger Granger on PC. I don't see any need to do the Los Santos, whatever, LSDS Boxville, nor the Clucking Bell Benson. I just don't see a need for it. And then we don't need to do both tow trucks. They're almost identical in performance. So, yeah. So, yeah, I struggled quite a bit. When I first tested to see if I could even get a drift car up here, I used the Tampa. And it did all right getting up this final bit. But the FR36 is struggling, and now it's a big, big struggle because I just barely slid off the trail. I am being very, very careful to not make this situation worse. I want to get back to the trail that, as you can see on the mini-map, is over to the left. But I know that if I try to just gun it and go up, I'm just going to slide sideways down more. So I'm trying to keep as much grip as I can and not go down very far, while also trying to eyeball where the trail is to get back on it somewhere. And this is as good of a spot as any because of this boulder right here. Is kind of like my fail-safe. I figured I can just, like, if I start sliding, I can hit that boulder and it'll catch me. That's why I chose to go up here. At least it would keep me from going really, really far down the mountain. Of course, the other FR36 up at the top right being driven by British Brandon, which, by the way, I hope you enjoyed his April Fool's video. I did. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of fun to make. It was a lot of fun to do all the captions and everything, and it was fun to hear him just trying to do a voiceover. So yeah, I figured there's more boulders behind me again. I could try a slightly less steep spot and tried to just keep going up, but the way it bounced, we couldn't do it. We'll get there though. We're getting close. I'm pretty sure this last push is going to get us there. But yeah, definitely a struggle. The Tampa went up the first time, although I can't remember, but I don't think I repeat that here in just a little bit. But yeah, we're 6.5 minutes in. I'm just giving it the beans. I think the bush got me there, but I'm kind of up here. You know what? It's close enough, and we'll just get the rest of the way around to the edge. But it's not too steep right here. So we are finally up. 6 minutes, 55, almost 56. So will it off-road? I know there was a ding, and I know the screen says yes, very emphatically, with a very strange, skinny exclamation point, but I'm going to say no. Just don't do it. I mean, yes, technically you can get this thing up the mountain. But when you do, one, as soon as you finish, some jerk in a freaking gauntlet police car is going to try to ram me back off the top of the mountain. And two, it wasn't pleasant. It was such a struggle to get up there. So, you know, that, I gotta say, the gauntlet does look really good. Yeah, normally I ask everybody to stay behind me, but I'm not going to fault Raven for not being able to do it in this case. By the way, we also had Sven with us, that you just see him go flying off in his Pseudo GTX just now. I don't know why Raven's not moving. I don't remember. Watch the behind-the-scenes version of the video to figure that out. But yeah, Sven doesn't record, so we don't have his perspective. Though next week we will have Donkey's perspective, so we'll split it back into 4 parts on the screen again. I like it when we have lots of different perspectives for World Off-Road. I just think it's cool. Nobody's ever told me different in the comments, so I'm going to keep doing it until until I hear feedback and enough feedback. But for the most part, people in the community on Discord have told me that they enjoy it, so I'm going to keep doing it. But speaking of that behind-the-scenes video, it is available to channel supporters. It is ad-free. It is less edited, so you get to see a lot of the outtakes and just silliness that we get up to in between the stuff that goes in the public videos. Plus, you get to hear our Discord conversation instead of this voiceover. All of that, as I mentioned, ad-free, and you get access to it from the Vainglorious Discord. I post it in the Vainglorious HQ media channel, which you get access to that by, one, either right on Discord itself on our server. You can buy a server subscription, and that'll get you access. Or right here on YouTube, if you become a channel member and you have YouTube and Discord linked together, you will get access to that on the Vainglorious Discord server. In addition, on YouTube, you get the extra perks of not only getting to use emotes and stuff like that in the comments and live streams. But you also get early access to 100% of every single video I upload. Sometimes it's only a couple hours, but in the case of this video, it is well over a month. Sometimes it's 8 weeks that the videos are up early on some series. So yeah, channel members get some really great perks. The third way is on Twitch. If you become a subscriber on Twitch, as long as you maintain that subscription and you have Discord and Twitch linked together, you'll get access to that. Then, of course, on Twitch, you get ad-free live streams, so whenever ads run, you get to skip those. Plus, you get access to just, well, I've got like 70, 80 emotes on there, and it's a lot of fun that way. Plus, you know, subscribers get priority in chat. And then the final way is on Patreon. You have to link Patreon and Discord together on Patreon itself instead of through Discord. Kind of weird that way. But if you make a monthly pledge on Patreon, you also get access to that supporters channel, where you get access to the behind-the-scenes videos. And man, normally I like have to rush through that whole thing that I just talked about, but the drift cars, I gotta be so careful with them. I had plenty of time, but we are down 3 minutes, 21, almost 22 seconds. Hobo managed to hit a mule. Raven's still so far up the mountain, we're just not gonna wait. Sven kidnapped Commander Hobo with the cargo bomb. Gave him a little bit of a head start, but it kind of worked out because he landed flat, so whatever. But we're back up at the top of the mountain, where we fling the cars off the top to see what type of damage they sustain. Spoiler for next week, one of the cars goes boom. It's pretty good. But yeah, this is just because, you know, it was originally just for giggles and, you know, those type of things, but... And it still is. But it does help you understand, you know, what type of body parts can come off of a car and what they look like after they've taken a good beating. And whether or not, you know, Rockstar put in any effort of giving it actual damage meshes and all of that good stuff, or if it's just a car that the paint gets a little scratched and nothing else. Again, spoiler, next week, one of the vehicles gets hit by the train and yet makes it all the way to the bottom with just scratches in the paint, and that's it for damage. So, yeah, that would be one of them. They didn't bother with any damage meshes or models or however it's done. I don't know. I'm not a graphic artist. I don't know how this all works. But we are taking quite a beating, bouncing off of one another, which gives you a good chance to go down to the description and click on Will It Off-Road Bingo. Once you get there, click on Generate a New Card, and then as things happen in the video, if they're on your card, mark them off, and if you manage to complete bingo, then put it in the comments. You'll be our 6th ever winner. Sven might have had the right idea to parachuting down, though he's missing out on the fun down here. I mean, look, it's just like a wrestling match, mud wrestling even, because there's some mud down here. That was a fail from Hobo, a fail from me, and Raven kind of got over the wood pile, so not too bad, not too terribly shabby. But we are down for the damage descent, 159. I was about to say 158. Let's take a look at the damage on the FR36. So most of the windows and lights are gone. Both of the doors are missing. The hood and the left fender, along with the rear bumper, are back up Mount Chiliad. The trunk deck lid came off, and the wheels are bent. And that was a really sick stunt, Sven. I can appreciate that. Not often you see a Sand King do a stoppy. And then nice drift, Hobo, except you hit the wood pile. There are our support vehicles sort of from the front and then from the back. And that's going to bring us to our next vehicle. The Declasse Drift Tampa, actually in Drift Spec. And I could have swore I had tested this thing before. I don't think, I think I bought it when it first came out and then needed space and got rid of it because I was like, meh, don't really, you know, it's an okay car. It looks nice, but it didn't really do anything for me because it didn't, you know, drift. So what was the point of it? But now that it can drift, I just leave it full time as drift. My FR36 is going to go back to being just a regular vehicle. Don't worry about that we just passed. The incidents, you know, again, things you can see in the behind the scenes video. But we won't talk about it. But you did see on April Fool's the effect that explosion had on me as I was trying. This is actually our second take on getting this car up the mountain. We had a bit of a fail. So if you didn't see the April Fool video, go back, watch at the very end. Because somebody miscalculated how long they needed to talk, which is easy to do on YouTube voiceovers. People are like, your job can't be that hard, and it's harder than it looks. But then again, once you get pretty decent at something, you can make it look far more effortless than it really is. Not to say my videos are perfect or the greatest thing ever, but I've been doing this now for 9 years. In fact, in 7 more days from the day I'm recording this voiceover will be my 9-year anniversary on YouTube. And my gosh, that very first video was rough. Very, very rough. You know what? I never talked stats on the FR36. I'm sorry, so let's talk about those real quick. I'll turn on a light so I can see. Out of 425 vehicles tested as of this video, it is 383rd. If you flip that around and go from the bottom, it is 13th from last before we start getting into vehicles that DNF'd. So it only managed to outperform 12 of the vehicles. It is 17.35 seconds slower than the Dundry Regina and 12.43 seconds faster than the Bravado half-track. In terms of drift vehicles, well, right now you're looking at the second one ever that we've tested. So the FR36 is first for now. And yes, I know that technically it stays in coupes and the Tampa here stays in sports, but I think it's important to kind of separate them out as a drift category, even though there's not a drift class, because the spec does change the cars fundamentally. So that I'm going to count them on my spreadsheet as a drift category, even though it's not a true different class in the game. So if you happen to look at the spreadsheet, which is linked in the description below, that's why that's there. Out of chop shop vehicles, the FR36 was dead last of the 17 that we had tested as of that vehicle. It was 3 minutes, 33 seconds, 33.47 actually. So 3 minutes, 33.47 seconds slower than the Vapid Illusion. And it was 4 minutes, 15 seconds flat slower in the Drift Spec than it was up against itself in non-Drift Spec. So yeah, sorry, I just totally forgot to give stats of the FR36. I was busy talking about how you can be a channel supporter, which I do appreciate all the channel support. It's not a lot. I mean, I've got 10 Twitch subscribers, 4 Patreon supporters, and as of the time of this video, 3 YouTube channel members. So, there's not a huge amount coming in. But I do appreciate every little bit. If I could get even a quarter of my total subscribers of YouTube to do $1 a month, no joke, $1 a month, I could stop looking for a job, because it would more than pay all my bills, more than pay all my bills, and leave me with a little bit of extra money to still throw into computer upgrades as needed and doing giveaways and things like that. My living expenses are cheap. But yeah, it kind of puts it in a weird perspective. I've got 10,500, maybe about 11,000 by the time this goes live. And seriously, if 20% even pitched in $1 a month, I'd be fine. I would be doing great. So we finally got the Tampa after one granny run up in 4 minutes, 17, almost 18 seconds. So will it off-road? Yes, struggling to keep it on top of the mountain there. It got a little chaotic, but it's there. Definitely did a lot better than the FR36, which we'll just go ahead and talk about that right now. So that bumped the FR36 to second out of 2 drift cars because, of course, Hobo's setting off motors, it sounds like. It's 2 minutes, 38.03 seconds faster than the FR36 to get up there. In terms of overall standing out of 425 vehicles that we've tested as of this video, it is 356, almost 30 places higher than the FR36. It is 1.2 seconds slower than the Albany Emperor and 0.12 seconds faster than the Ambulance. I don't remember who makes the Ambulance. Is it Brute? I think it's Brute. In terms of chop shop, this bumps the FR36 down 1 spot. So this one takes 17 out of now 18 that we've tested. And the Tampa is 55.43 seconds slower than the Vapid Illusion, with that same split to the Tampa. I never tested the Tampa in its stock configuration, so I don't know how much better it did. I do know I nearly drove off the side of the mountain right there. It was definitely tricky. Also, Hobo reminding me just how much I love the weaponized Tampa. Like, the thing just, like, I love the original Tampa when it first came out. Oh, Sven just went flying by in a rocket car. But the weaponized Tampa is just so much fun, though. So easy to blow yourself up since the rockets are so low to the ground. Yeah, one little bump and you're done. I don't know why Raven attempted that jump in drift car. I don't know what he was thinking. That was never going to end well. But, yeah, you can see the top right. He's definitely paying for it. And then Sven must have... No, he's back there behind me. Okay, I was going to say he must put his car in the drink. But no, he's hanging back. I don't know exactly where he is. I'm sure we'll hear him whoosh by in a moment. I don't think I ever actually catch a glimpse of his car. Oh, just barely there. We see him go off the side. Oh, man. Yeah, rocket vehicles on the mountain, not really the best mix. And, oh, my goodness, I really thought I was going to go off right there. I would love to chalk that up to driving skill, but it's just luck that I happened to hit the rock the way I did. However, it did not intend to hit that rock, which knocked me completely off track. But, you know, I gave Hobo a good reason to laugh at me. And he did. I promise you, Hobo laughed at me. So, there, once again, is the Scramjet? Yeah, Scramjet. Which I love the wheels he has on that thing. They work really, really well on it. And I am just trying to get this down around and onto flatter ground where it's a little bit happier. We're going to spin again. It looks like he hit something because his icon just spun around. There he is. And finally, back down onto pavement. I don't know if, like, I kept spinning because I was doing that wrong or if there was just enough of a blast from his rockets there. I genuinely don't know. But I'm doing my best now to keep it out of the ditch. Looks like, yeah, Raven managed to catch up with us. And we are down from our controlled descent, 3 minutes, 33 seconds. So let's take it back to the top of Mount Chiliad. I don't know why he jumps out of his cars. Back to the top of Mount Chiliad, where we will once again fling the vehicle off. Woo! My goodness, Finn is gone. Look, from Hobo's perspective, that was just incredible. He just disappeared off the horizon, and now he is just way, way farther down the mountain. I can't even really tell how far down he is. It looks like he didn't get to the beach, but maybe the railroad tracks? Kind of looks like he's right by the railroad tracks. But yeah, that was something. That's where the nice thing about a rocket car on the mountain is off that ramp. You can just clear the whole damage descent for the most part. And, you know, just have a really, really harsh landing somewhere down between the sawmill and the ocean. I don't know if any of them are strong enough to actually go into the ocean. Huh. That needs to be a test. I also want to come up with a mini game where we try to catch people with a cargo bomb jumping off that ramp at the top. Not for Will and Offroad, just to do. Just to see if people can time it right. Maybe do teams, and whichever team can manage to catch the other team the most. I don't know. It's just a stupid little thing. I was like, that sounds like that could be incredibly fun. Or incredibly challenging. Wait. Oh, Hobo's stuck. I'm like, why is Hobo on foot? I didn't realize he got stuck. I didn't. Of course, I'm also not going to get over the log pile. I'm just going to slide sideways. It looks like Hobo's getting back out, though. Yeah, he's good to go. So, we are down 1 minute, 44 seconds. Let's take a look at the damage on the Tampa. Bonk. It's all the windows, half of all the lights, and the doors and hood won't those. That's it. This car does not have much of a damage model at all. The wheels didn't even mend. Like, normally you at least get some camber on the wheels, but nope, not on this one. But anyways, that's going to do it for our next to the last regular Wheel It Off-Road for the Chop Shop. We'll be back next week, like I said, with the tow truck and the police riot. And then 2 weeks after that, or no, the week after that, and then for 2 weeks in a row, we'll be back with Wheel It Off-Road at the races. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching today. There are 10 kajillion things you can watch on YouTube, and you chose my silly little video, so I appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.